Well, hello there, I'm Pagan Pride, this is Salvus Instinctu, and welcome back to episode 13 of Star Trek Resurgence. Had some thoughts after the last episode. There are a couple of gripes I do have with this game. Firstly is the captain. All the way through, he struck me as self-centered and more worried about his own career than the actual Starfleet regulations. I know it's happened before, but it just struck me as off. And Lieutenant Bedrosian, she is not in any way, shape or form a Starfleet officer. She should not be in the uniform. It struck me after the last episode that every Starfleet captain I can think of, from Kirk to Janeway to Sisko, Picard, every single one of them, if she'd have thrown a tantrum like that on the bridge, she would have been immediately relieved from duty and sent back to quarters, confined to quarters. None of the captains I'm aware of would have sanctioned that kind of outburst, let alone let it slide. And she's just, in my opinion, she shouldn't be a Starfleet officer, period. Gripe over. Let's get on with this episode and see what we got in store.
There they are!
You did what had to be done with the Tasker. You said you'd avenge her, and you did. The Tasker can rest now. Even if I wavered in the moment, there's no way she saved herself from that ship.
I wish I could have found a way to save her.
You did.
No surprises here. But your shoulders separated. If you come with me to sickbay, we can get you fixed up in no time.
Thank you. I'll find you afterwards.
You two, check in at your stations. This thing isn't over yet.
I can't believe it, but I'm actually looking forward to seeing Chobok. Not that I'd expect this kind of welcome from him, but I can just imagine the look on his face.
You know what? I want to see him too. It'll be nice to get one piece of normalcy.
I'm sure we can count on him for that.
I can't believe it! You evaded the Takan, ejected their warp cores, and lived to talk about it!
That about sums it up.
They're gonna be teaching this at the Academy for years to come. I mean it. Everybody's gonna learn how you pulled it off.
The Academy? Oh, well, I wouldn't know about that.
After this, you'll probably get a personal invitation to show them how it's done. I heard about Belle. Is Miranda?
As far as we know, she's still out there.
Well, I know Captain Rydek will do her best to get her back.
Hold on. Rydek? What about Captain Solano?
He was turned into a Takan. Rydek had to take over. She's a hell of an officer. But none of us have been up against anything like this. No one has. Not in 500,000 years.
I guess there's never a dull moment around here, huh?
You telling me it's not always like this?
Not if we can help it.
Talk to you later.
It is agreeable to see you again.
Is that so?
It was by no means a certainty that you would return to duty here.
It is agreeable to see you as well, sir.
I concur.
You should know your absence has left engineering terribly short-handed. During your sojourn, this department has fallen unacceptably behind schedule on both regular and irregular duties.
There's been a whole lot of irregularity going around.
Seems like you could use some help around here. We're ready to go to work.
I'd like to catch my breath for at least a few minutes, Carter.
Normally, I would assign you to one of the many pressing repair tasks. But, given your experience on board the Zeldy, I have suggested you join the senior staff briefing as we determine our next course of action. You can commence your maintenance shift afterwards.
I tended to an Illidian earlier. Major Sarlet Arminta.
Ah, yes. I met him at the negotiations.
I never would have imagined I'd be here, on the same ship, working together with our oppressors. But now that I am, I can imagine a future where the Hotari and Illidians are no longer enemies. I always hoped for peace, but it seems so far away. There's still a lot of bad blood.
Peace is often fleeting. If there's a chance, you should take it.
Peace with our former enemies may be hard for some to accept, but it's what my people need.
Well, that's coming along nicely. Thank you, Tylus. I'll take it from here. We're almost done.
I have to brief Ambassador Spock in a few minutes.
Ambassador Spock can wait. You have some fences to mend. Personally, I'm against the needless destruction of innocent life forms, so I'm glad you transported the Draconian crystals onto the ship. But Lieutenant Bedrosian obviously feels otherwise. And right now, you need the full support of your bridge crew. Being an effective leader requires trust, but an issue as divisive as this can create discord.
I don't expect everyone will agree with my decisions, and she's entitled to a different opinion, but I'll handle Lieutenant Bedrosian.
You'll be fine, just as long as people feel like they're being heard. It's been a chaotic last few days for everyone. You need to name a new first officer in preparation for what's coming. You'll have to work to regain Lieutenant Bedrosian's trust, but if she's removed from consideration, it comes down to Westbrook or Ermot. Obviously, there are pros and cons with each, but ultimately, the decision is yours. Commander Westbrook has seniority and was hoping to be Captain Solano's first officer. Ermot has the knowledge and experience that makes him more than qualified.
I don't mind saying I consider Commander Ermot a strong candidate for the role.
He'd be a popular choice with the crew, and bring a steadiness to the position that others might lack. Certainly not a controversial choice. But then, some may perceive that as playing it safe. You're as good as new.
Thank you, Dr. Duvall.
Always nice to have a captive audience. You really shouldn't keep Ambassador Spock waiting.
Captain.
I'll meet you inside.
I'm here to officially tender my resignation from the crew of the USS Resolute. I cannot in good conscience continue to serve aboard this ship, not while the interests of the enemy take precedent over the safety of the crew.
Lieutenant, we both know how much we need your help and expertise for the coming conflict. I have no one to replace you.
I understand, Captain. And I apologize. But my heart is not in it any longer. And to stay would be a disservice to us both.
My door is always open if you change your mind.
I appreciate that.
We'll have Ambassador Spock via subspace shortly.
Thank you, Mr. Armand.
I'll notify Lieutenant Bedrosian we're about to begin.
That won't be necessary.
Petty Officers Diaz and Edsalar have first-hand experience with our adversaries. I thought it advantageous for them to join this briefing. I understand this is unusual, but I trust you have no objections?
Talk about moving up in the world.
These are unusual times, Mr. Chobak.
In all seriousness, what Diaz and Edsalar accomplished aboard the Zeldi is nothing short of remarkable. They're both to be commended, not only for surviving against incredible odds, but for helping our efforts against these scions.
You know, Carter deserves most of the credit. None of us would have made it without his help. We'd all be bioformed by this point.
Well, honestly, we just got lucky. That's all.
I'm sure it was more than just luck.
Ambassador Spock is ready for you.
Put him through.
Captain Rydek, your recent change in station certainly warrants mention, and I trust you to faithfully execute your expanded duties. Right now, we must keep our attention on the clear and present danger that lies ahead, the Takan and their warship. The closest populations are the Hotari and Elydian systems, and they are likely the first targets for mass bioforming. After that, lies Federation space. I have advised Starfleet Command to send an impromptu battle group to intercept and assist you, but that will take time. You are our first line of defense. And with our shield algorithms compromised, we are at a great disadvantage. Of course, you know that as well as I do.
I'm glad to hear the battle group is en route, Ambassador. With what we're up against, we're gonna need all the help we can get.
And you will have it. Remember, our strength is drawn from our ability to work together towards a common goal.
Have we made any progress in finding a way to defend ourselves from the Aphilion's bioforming weapon?
Currently, our shields will not protect us, but I am compiling all of the information the away team gathered on the Zeldi and cross-referencing it against our own as well as Portal 6-3's methods.
The away team is sitting right here. They survived without getting bioformed, so we know it's possible. So, what's the secret? How do we defend ourselves? Is there a weakness we can exploit? Something we can do to avoid getting bioformed?
Well, simple as it sounds, the best thing to do is to not get caught. Whether it's one-on-one or the whole ship.
We avoided the Takan as much as we could.
But we saw the bioforming, and there's not much you can do.
I found something that might help. It's too soon to say for sure, but we've had some promising indications that Duridium can delay the bioforming process.
Duridium?
It's not a cure. It's not going to bring anyone back we've already lost. But Duridium is a cell stabilizer, so it has the potential to slow down the onset of physical and mental changes, if not entirely prevent them. And it might be the only ship in the fleet with this much Duridium on hand. In fact, a lot of ships wouldn't have any.
I'll forego the rest of my treatments, if it means the crew will be safe.
Captain, you'd die.
That's an honorable intention, but it's not that simple. It requires a much larger dose to be effective. We don't have enough Duridium on board to protect the whole crew. We barely have enough to protect everyone in this room.
Sounds like it won't do us much good then.
The use case I'd suggest is that it could buy a little time for an officer or a small group to complete a task or mission. But it has to be taken at the moment of exposure to the bioforming mechanism.
Prepare a delivery method for this remedy.
That raises the question, what is the mission?
Assuming the Aphelion uses shields of some kind, I don't expect it will be easy to bypass their defenses.
We may not be able to block the Aphelions' attack either. But if they do strike, we know their weapon uses transporter technology. We might be able to backtrack their signal path.
Like we did to evacuate Captain Rydek from Tau.
Exactly. We could send an away team onto the Aphelion.
So we could destroy it from the inside.
I'm not exactly sure how, but that's the idea.
If our best counterpunch has to come after they get a free shot at us, that truly is the worst-case scenario. We should try to stay ahead of them. Keep the engines running at maximum.
Yes, Captain.
We'll need to prepare a boarding party, if it comes to that.
Petty Officers Edsalar and Diaz are the logical choices to lead any away mission to the Aphelion. They have already crippled one enemy ship. If anyone can do so again, it is them.
This isn't like the engineering mission that took you to the Zeldi. Do you really have some special insights that a tactical team wouldn't?
Doesn't the fact that we're here speak for itself?
Just surviving won't be enough this time.
Sabotage is kind of becoming our specialty. We'll find a way to get the job done.
Well, he certainly has the swagger for it.
If this is the necessary course of action, I support it.
With the help of Portal. He should be part of the away team.
I will compile all the latest data on the tricorders, just in case.
In the meantime, I want you working on ways we can combat the Takan tech. Shields, weapons, anything we can use.
Yes, Captain.
Anything else, Ambassador?
I know this matter is in capable hands. Hold the line as best you can. Help is on the way.
Thank you. I have faith in all of you to meet this moment with the urgency it requires. I expect all of us to give it everything we've got. Thank you, Petty Officers Diaz and Edsalar. You're dismissed.
While we have a quorum of senior staff, there is a procedural element we need to take care of. The Resolute command codes must be transferred to Captain Rydek for control of the ship.
Of course.
Computer, transfer all command codes to Captain Jaro Rydek. Voice authorization Ermot, Echo 4 Lima.
Voice authorization Duval. Beta 2 Yankee.
Voice authorization Westbrook, Alpha 7 Tango.
Awaiting your authorization, Captain.
Voice authorization, Rydek. Alpha 7. X-ray.
Captain's codes transfer. The updated command structure is incomplete. Please designate a new first officer.
Who is the new first officer?
Please designate a new first officer.
I am proud to name Commander Ermot as my new first officer, effective immediately. Congratulations.
Thank you, Captain. I promise I won't let you down.
Computer, Commander Ermot is the new first officer of the USS Resolute.
Awaiting voice authorization.
Voice authorization Ermot, Echo 4 Lima.
Authorization is now complete.
Now, if you'll excuse me, there's work to be done.
Nicely done. I think that went well.
Captain Rydek!
Excuse me for a minute.
This is just unbelievable, unacceptable, inexplicable. To be the most senior officer on the bridge, and to be passed over again? I couldn't believe you went to Lieutenant Bedrosian with the information about Captain Solano being compromised instead of me. I've never felt more humiliated.
Listen, I know you're disappointed. I would be too in your position. But considering our history and what we're up against, I had to decide what would be best for all of us. Which is why I chose Commander Ermont.
He's not even close to being first officer material. He's little more than a bureaucrat who's never set foot off the ship. That is a serious liability at a time when we need experience.
You're entitled to your opinion, but I completely disagree with your assessment. Commander Ermont is an extremely competent professional who's more than up to the task, and he'll be an excellent first officer.
You drove Bedrosian away? Now this? If you're not careful, you might not have any crew left, even if we do survive.
But we will survive.
Ridiculous.
Damn, this guy's a pissy little school kid. Pretty sure he shouldn't be in a bloody uniform either.
I don't understand. Giving everything she's got, it doesn't make a difference. Something is actively slowing us down.
Keep trying. What's the situation in engineering?
I can't raise them. Internal comms are down.
It's the ionic interference. It's spiking again. If we reinitialize the central communications trunk, it should compensate. I know the process, Captain. With your permission, I'll go handle it.
Of course.
If Galvin manages to catch us, there's nothing we can do. We're no match for Taconian technology. Not to mention the shield frequencies.
I'll consider any suggestions from my first officer.
We're being pulled out of warp!
I've got the Aphelion rapidly bearing down on our position.
We're being hailed by the Aphelion. Galvin demands to be heard.
On screen.
You thought you could run? That I would let you escape so easily after taking what's mine? How pathetic and predictable. At least you can take solace knowing you'll be a far braver Takan than you were as a cowardly Kobliad. Is it any wonder your people perished?
You underestimate the lengths I'm willing to go to ensure you don't succeed.
Sadly, this is as far as you'll get. We both know I hold your fate in the palm of my hand. That I could crush you in an instant if I so desired. And as much as I'd like to, you have another purpose to serve. As one of us.
Red alert! Pandar, get us out of here! Evasive maneuvers!
They've hit us, decks 8 through 10. But I'm not reading any structural damage.
They were targeting the crew, not the ship.
Captain, we have to respond with force. Return fire. Don't let them attack without a counter.
Fire phasers! Target the source of the beam!
No damage from the phasers, Captain. Their shields are still at full strength. The Aphelion's just too powerful.
Damage report from the lower decks.
Still can't get through on the comms, Captain. If that was the bioforming ray, I have to assume there are now Takan on board the Resolute. They could all be Takan at this point. Or will be soon enough.
Get an urgent message to Starfleet Command. Tell them we've been hit by the Aphelion's bioforming ray. There may be hostile Takan aboard this ship.
I'll notify them at once.
Here are your new tricorders. Now go. Get to the transporter room.
Who's on what side, Carter? Come on!
Transporter room 1.
You're coming with us?
A security officer told me your funeral, which I gladly accepted.
These are concentrated iridium doses. You need to take the dose as soon as you're exposed for it to be effective. Hell, take it right before if you can get the Takan to wait for you to do it.
I'm having trouble locking onto the transporter path through the interference.
I've done this before. I have to align the transporter with the tetrametric signature. We need to tunnel through the shields. There's a problem. We don't have enough power to make the jump. I might be able to divert power from the...
Stand aside.
The signal is now resolved. I couldn't let you fumble about any longer. Time is running short.
That's great. You must be Portal 6-3.
Yes. Guardian of the Takon Empire.
I'm Carter. Engineer of the Starship Resolute.
We're right behind you.
Do us proud over there. Ready to transport.
Energize.
The glory of it. This ship is a marvel. Even to me, it's almost a shame we have to scuttle it. The galaxy has never seen a ship like this.
It is beautiful. I'll give you that.
Resolute, come in!
We're losing cohesion.
I'm gonna try to use my tricorder as a pattern enhancer.
The signal's gone. Are they there? Did you get them?
They didn't make it.
Oh my god. We have to get to the Cartabula and disable it.
Hopefully before the battle group shows up.
Get served up for the Aphelions' next meal.
I am saturated in Taconian power readings. I can't feel the source just yet.
This way.
Okay, I think we're calling into the episode there. Westbrook. Yeah, he just acted like a little child. I'm sorry. I think I chose the choice of Ermot was the correct one. He's a baby. As for yeah, sorry. To willingly want to execute millions of lives, even if they are potential ammunition, that's not Starfleet. Sorry. She should not have that uniform on. That being said, yeah, we know she's pissed. Reassure by Jarrah's realistic assessment. Okay, yeah, we know he's pissed. Acted like a little baby. She's okay, no difference there. No change with Riker. Nothing's changed there. Okay, Carter. Stunned by lack of compassion. Didn't see her anymore. Carter's Harax brought to Seldy. Commander Chilvek was pleased to find him agreeable and willing to get back to work. proud of Carter's humility and willingness to offer practical solutions. Complex problems during a senior staff meeting. Glad to hear Carter's appreciation of the ship. Okay. That's it for this episode. Thanks for watching, and please smash the like and consider subscribing to the channel. It helps me out and edges me ever closer to monetizing this. Please consider leaving a comment. Ta-ra for now.